So it's been fun to continually just watch them eat their words because the Pacers continue to win games.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
I feel like you're saying in general that the Pacers themselves are
Yeah.
underrated.
All right, let's hit it. Three, two, one. I'm ready.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Graveyard Shift, your midnight snack of sports talk. We are your hosts, Josh and Missy Graves. And like always, we're just here to yap, really.
True.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Time to yap away.
Yappity yap yap. Yap yap. So, first things first, I just need everyone to know update from last week. We were talking about how I was going to be really productive while Josh was gone on his work trip.
Yeah. Is
I
that
was productive. Here's the thing, I was productive. I was productive. I did
uh-huh.
a lot of research for our podcast, but that doesn't have a physical, like you can't physically see that.
hmm
So I look like I did nothing, but I really did a lot of work. That's all I have to say.
All I'm saying is that when you were gone the week before, I finished a raised garden bed and cleaned the house and did all the laundry.
I just feel like I deserve more credit because I'm putting in work, WERK, so that we can grow our two fans into four. That, like, doubling our size, that's 100% growth. That's kind of my goal here.
So yeah, I mean, like
So,
Walmart would love to have 100% growth year over year,
well, shut
month over
up.
month. No, I'm just saying, like by comparison, like we're doing great.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So we'll go to two and then we'll go four and then
yeah.
eight. And then
Whoa,
before you know it, we'll have 16 listeners.
let's not get crazy here. All right,
I
not
think we
not
actually
get
have
out.
like 18 subscribers on YouTube.
Don't need to be outlandish here.
So
Actually, I
really the
don't.
goal is
Who's
36.
the other two?
Quick math. Who's the other two? I don't know. I'm just that good that it's like exponentially growing.
Said we're gonna have
Anyway,
16, and then you're getting up to 18. Just going crazy here.
we have 18 already, is what I'm saying.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, that's what I said. We have 18 on YouTube currently.
Wow,
I'll double check.
look at us
I don't
go.
know who these 18 people are, but we are so happy that you're here.
Thank you, 18 people.
Tell us who you are down below. We'd love to chat.
Nice, good shout out
So,
there.
anyway, that's what I did while Josh was gone. Did you go crazy party in Miami on your business
So
trip?
wild.
Sure.
Yeah, so kind of hilarious the fact that we were in Miami. I think I talked about this last week. But so what I do is I work for a bank, Smart Bank to be specific, official bank of Dollywood. Um,
No big deal.
Dolly Parton, man,
Hmm.
special place in the heart. Anyways, so what I do is extremely nerdy for banks. Basically, my job is to stress test the balance sheet with different interest rate scenarios, as well as different liquidity events, and test the risk profile of the bank. And then ultimately, based on what the risk profile is of the bank, and I'm doing this on a monthly basis, I propose different strategies that the bank could take to mitigate those risks. So, balance sheet hedges. So that is my job. I'm sure that puts everybody to sleep, but I have a ton of
Yeah.
fun doing it because it's fun to me. But I say all that to say it's extremely nerdy. And the software company that we use to do it, it's called Imperium, as can be seen here on my new water bottle that I got
You're
on
so
the trip.
excited about your water
I'm
bottle.
pumped. I wanted one of these because you can sip it through a straw, or you can drink out of the top part and get like free flowing water. So, anyways, very exciting thing. But yeah, so the software company was like, you know what? You know where we should take all these bank nerds? Miami, which is a wild place. So real quick on the work trip, it was good. It's basically 2 days of conferences. Started on Wednesday. I went down on Tuesday. There was a very nice boardwalk behind our resort that we were at. Won't call it a hotel. It was a resort. Um, So went out there first day, walked like a few miles out there on it. Then I just went and sat on the beach, and it was a good time. Met a friend from New York, so me and him went and watched the Knicks Pacers game, game 5, and no, 4.
4.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
4
yeah,
because
4.
yeah,
5 was,
pa-
yeah,
Pacers won that one, and then
yeah,
Knicks won 5, and then Pacers won 6 last night. Yeah, that's how it happened.
sure. I don't know.
But anyways, yeah. So we went and watched the game. There was like a little local place inside. One, I looked up sports bars that were within like 10-minute walking distance, and there were none other than the one that was in the resort, which I didn't want to go to because it was going to be way overpriced. And so
Yeah.
we ended up having to go there. And sure enough, for me to get a French dip sandwich and 2 beers, $72.
I think that's just Miami.
Crazy.
Welcome to
It
Miami.
Can't confirm it is just Miami. So when I got down there, I was starving because I woke up at 3:30 on Tuesday to fly out um,
Never
to
again.
get down there. I don't know
That was a
why I
bad
keep booking
decision.
these
It's a really
5
bad
a.m.
decision.
flights. Well, we're doing it again here in like 3 weeks, so
That that's for vacation,
that's
though.
true.
That's different.
Yeah, you get the
Don't
adrenaline.
book a flight for work that early unless you have no other choice.
No, yeah, my thought process there was like I'm gonna be the good employee. I'll get down there early and then I'll have the back half of the day to work. But the problem with that is that I can't sleep on a flight. So when you wake me up at 3:30 and I'm just going for the whole day, by the time I actually got to settle down in my room, it was nearly 3 o'clock in the afternoon at that point, and I was zapped. So I was like, I'll check my email really quick and then I'm gonna go outside and go for my walk, which is what I did because I also needed to go down to CVS Pharmacy because I forgot a few things. And those few things
By
are,
a few things, you mean literally everything that you
yeah.
need to go to
So I
travel.
didn't have shampoo, conditioner, body wash, toothpaste, a hairbrush, contact lens holder. I had saline for the contacts though. I
Gosh.
need that to be known. Had that. I also was planning on working out multiple times while I was down there, which I hit my lifts twice. But the problem was that I packed gym shorts, but no gym shirts. Um, don't know how that happened, but that
I need
happened.
to talk to other wives and see if they have this same issue because like every time like I seriously think that I need to start packing your suitcase for you
It
when
might
you
not be
go
a bad idea.
places
Here,
because
here's
you
the here's
always
the important
forget
thing though.
important things every time.
Didn't forget underwear though. Packed like 10
Okay.
pairs for 3 days.
Thank God.
Was ready.
Thank God.
Can never have too many pairs of underwear on a trip. That's not even a hot take.
That's not a hot take.
No,
That is a normal
you
take.
you need to
You
pack.
take excessive amounts of underwear.
You got to take at least like 4 per day because there's the option that you might make a mess of yourself multiple times throughout the day.
Make a
I
mess
mean,
of yourself.
you gotta,
You never know what's going to happen on
you
vacation.
could pack like 1.5 pairs of socks for each day, like on average. So you're going on a 2-day trip, maybe you take 3 pairs of socks. Underwear though, you can't pack enough of those. So, but all in all, the trip was a good time. I came back Friday morning, which is also a hot move. I had a 7 a.m. flight, and Thursday night was like the going away party thing. So they had like a whole spread and, open bar and whatnot. So, but I was lame. I called it a night at like 8 p.m. Tried to go to sleep. Couldn't sleep. Didn't fall asleep until like 1 a.m. Had to wake up at 4. So I slept a little over 3 hours Thursday night, but made up for it Friday night. Slept over 9.5 hours.
I think you definitely slept more than that.
Yeah, I was falling asleep on the couch. So I've been
Yeah.
trying to get Melissa to watch the seventh Mission Impossible with me so that she can go
Yeah.
see the eighth Mission Impossible with me. So we were trying to do that Friday, but I kept falling asleep. Also, I don't think Melissa is a large fan of Mission Impossible at all. So,
Just we talked about this before. I don't dislike it. I just yeah.
but the work trip was a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the highlight of the weekend was us. Well, oh gosh, there were two highlights. One, so we finished the garden. Well, okay, you finished the garden bed last week, the raised garden bed you built.
Yep, built the
But
frame.
it was empty, so we had to fill it, and that was an adventure.
So yeah, we looked at bags of dirt, right? And it was gonna be like you could fill 1 cubic foot for like
Cubic
$7 to $10
yard.
per bag.
Oh, foot. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So then I was like, you know what? There's got to be somewhere that like close to us that has potting soil that we could just buy by like a truckload.
yeah.
Sure enough,
Sure
it
enough,
wasn't
there is.
super close. It was like 35 minutes away from us, but got it from this good old boy. Showed up, said,
Oh
"Hey,
boy.
looking to buy some dirt and potting soil for raised garden bed," and he was like, "Oh, you want to come see our dirt?" And then he showed us a pile
He
of dirt,
walked
and we
us
were like,
over and
"That's
showed us
what,
the dirt, and we were
that's
like,
dirt.
it looks like dirt.
That'll
And
do."
then he loaded it up in our truck, and
Yep.
then we got
So
home. Oh, I'm
no,
sorry, am I
no,
interrupting your
no,
storytelling?
no. You got it. You got it. Sorry.
So we got home. He just dumps it right up in the truck bed, right? We're doing truck stuff in our truck. And we don't have a wheelbarrow, and like wheelbarrows are big, and we've never needed a wheelbarrow until today. So we're like, we don't need to buy a wheelbarrow. We'll just use buckets because it's not like a huge area. It worked. That part went great. That part went flawlessly. We
I
used
would
our
just,
buckets.
I just need to
What?
be on record. I wanted a wheelbarrow. I fought for a wheelbarrow, and I was shut down on the wheelbarrow.
No, you fought for renting a wheelbarrow, which I thought was stupid. Because why would we? That just adds another step. We have to go back and return the wheelbarrow. I don't want to have to do that.
But then we get use of the wheelbarrow, and it's $11, and we don't have to worry about storing it since we don't really need it for multiple projects.
Whatever. I'm happy with how it went. The real thing we need to talk about here is the mess that we didn't even foresee coming. Is what do you do with the leftover dirt that's just in your truck bed? So our driveway is in a state right now.
Yeah, hindsight being 2020, should have gone to Walmart and gotten like a cheap tarp to put down
Yeah.
in the truck bed before we put the dirt in there.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
because would you like to explain why we needed to flush the truck bed out Saturday morning?
Okay, you're acting like it's my fault. One our friends got engaged on Saturday, and they have their engagement party Saturday evening, and so they needed us to go by his house and pick up the champagne, and it was like two big cases of champagne. Um, and so he asked us because we have a truck, and so now we're like, crap, there's dirt in the truck bed. That's gross. We need to clean it. And so that was a whole ordeal. But then we didn't even need to use the truck bed because it was only two cases of champagne and then a bunch of bottles of orange juice. That just fits in the back seat.
Yeah,
So it was an adventure.
high key could have taken the Civic and
Yeah, we could
wouldn't
have
have had
taken
an issue.
Cindy. But then we wouldn't have had such a fun experience using our pressure washer to clean the bed of the truck. And oh,
Yep, fun is the right word to explain it. I was the pressure washer in this scenario, and I was
I tried to be
soaking
the
mud
pressure washer, but you were all, I do it, I man.
because
Oh.
I knew how dirty I was about to get doing the pressure washing, and I knew with you were gonna freak out because you'd need to wash your hair afterwards, and we weren't gonna have time to do that because we had to go and do the next exciting thing on our list of exciting weekend activities. Um, so I took one for the team and I pressure washed the truck bed and then tried to pressure wash the driveway. Failed at the second part. Got the
Yeah,
truck bed clean. Just the driveway
mostly.
is in a
It's
bad state.
in a bad state. It's okay
But
though.
it'll be fixed Thursday when we have our pressure washer guy come out and clean the
Yeah.
driveway. So
Anyway, but what really happened this weekend was I played golf for the first time.
you did. You did.
And I'm so upset because we recorded the whole thing. The whole experience was on film, but the audio didn't connect right.
Yeah.
So I'm upset. I had a whole, we were vlogging the whole experience, and you guys were going to see just how amazing I am at golf, just out of my natural ability. But I guess we're going to have to try again.
I'll tell,
I still don't understand what happened and why it didn't work, so we're going to have to experiment.
man, I'm pissed too because I mean, when I shot the hole in one on hole number
Uh-huh,
four,
sure.
and then like finished 8 under par for the front nine. I mean, I can't believe we didn't get that documented. It was
No,
Scotty Scheffler out there,
stop. We
but we'll
didn't,
never
did you
see.
even keep, I mean, we weren't keeping score of mine. Were you keeping score?
I did for a little bit, and then I just stopped keeping score.
Okay.
So
I did
it's
not
kind of
keep
like
track of anything that I did.
if I get like
Um,
3 holes of double bogey in a row, which is how it started, then I just stop like fully tracking. Like I don't put it down. I keep the number in my head as I'm going.
I don't know what double bogey means.
So you have your par for each hole. So like a par
Yeah.
four, double bogey would be that you finished it in 6 strokes.
Oh, so it's like over. Bogey means over.
Yeah, birdie means under,
Oh, okay.
but there's not a double
Bogey sounds
birdie.
like booger, and that's how you know it's bad.
There you go. Yep, nailed it. You feel good about that one, don't
I do.
you?
Yes, that was funny. Um, so yeah, we'll play again. I feel like we need to practice
Yeah,
um like
we
form.
need to get you some clubs as well.
Yeah, you're just a little bit taller than me. So yeah, yep.
Oh, yeah. But golf was fun. The back half of the nine that we played, significantly better for me. I was playing like bogey golf at that point, which meant that I was shooting 1 over par per hole at that point. Uh, I blame the fact that we didn't get to warm up on the driving range as the
Because
reason
of the
because
Mhm.
I
So it's
was
all my fault.
covering myself in mud. I didn't say that. I didn't say
That's what you
that.
implied. What you
But
implied.
that is
Right.
my reasoning for why I did so bad on like the first couple holes.
Sure.
Yep.
Mhm.
On it, like hole three and on, I was fine. It was just that first 2 holes were tough.
I got good at
Wedge, chipping,
the scoop
yeah,
scooping
chipping,
it. I got good at that one. I had a couple of good ones there.
yeah. You're also like pretty decent at putting.
And it's all geometry. And I don't know if you know this. I was a math major.
What? No way. That's
I should
crazy.
get out there with my protractor.
You won't. Use the like
It wasn't helping me.
set the putter up and use the sun to determine the time of day and how
Yeah,
that
like a
affects the
sundial or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
No, no.
All right,
Um,
should we talk about actual sports
I
now?
get.
Let's see. Midnight snacks,
On to our midnight snacks.
which is where we talk about snacks that we had at midnight.
We
I
should.
didn't have any recently, actually, at
I haven't
midnight.
had any.
So,
I try not to eat that late. Like I was really hungry last night, but I wanted to wait because I feel like if you eat a lot before bed, I don't know.
there were multiple nights when I was on my work trip last week where I wanted snacks before bed, but I was scared to eat anything in that hotel room because of how expensive it was going to be.
Like the snacks in the fridge
I
or whatever.
Yeah, I bought a water bottle from like the little coffee shop that was down in the lobby. $10 for like just a regular bottle of water.
Crazy.
I mean, it was ridiculous.
That's crazy. Anyway, on to our actual midnight
Yeah,
snacks.
sorry, yeah.
Our men's sports news. So first up. That's fun. Up. Pacers eliminate the Knicks.
True.
So they're going to the finals to face OKC.
Mm-hmm. So,
And if you watched our Instagram story last night, you saw that Josh was rooting for the Pacers and I was rooting for the Knicks, and I was wrong.
it'll
I
be a
can admit
fun
when I'm wrong.
Can you?
Yeah, sometimes when I choose to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this series because one, the Pacers, like, their guy is Tyrese Haliburton, and he was voted by other NBA players this season as the most overrated superstar
That's
in the
wild.
NBA.
That's
And
wild to me.
he will be facing the league's MVP from this year. SGA plays on OKC in the
So it's the
NBA.
most
Just trying to hit all the
overrated
acronyms
player
here.
versus the MVP.
Yes. So that'll be
When does
exciting.
that start? Do you know when that
Thursday, I
starts?
believe.
Thursday. Okay. Well,
Yeah, we gotta.
you know
So
what
in
they
the
say.
meantime, what do they
Go
say?
Vols.
Go Vols.
Go Vols.
Does that have anything to do
um,
with the Pacers?
no, but go Vols.
So wait, question. Since you were going for the Knicks last night, are you gonna go for OKC in this next series?
I don't know if I like. I don't know. I need to watch the game and see what my heart tells me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep riding with the Pacers. They've been a fun team to cheer for because it is. I mean, last night's game honestly was pretty tight, like close up until pretty much like halfway through the third quarter
Huh.
onwards, and then the Pacers just dominated the Knicks. But
Yeah.
it felt like it was close the whole time.
It was. Yeah. That's why I felt good because at halftime they were only down by like two or four or something like that.
Yeah,
And they came back from bigger leads before, or
true.
from being down by more before. So I say that. Well, that's that. What baseball updates you got?
So
Baseball's
regionals are
happening.
happening right now.
Hmm
Vandy lost last
Vandy
night.
lost, which was wild.
They lost 2-3. Um,
Yeah.
and that, I mean, that's pretty crazy because they are like the number one overall seed for this whole thing. And they got that after they won the SEC tournament for baseball.
Uh,
So they're a great team, but yeah, now they are
yeah.
they're playing in their elimination game because it is a double Elam type series. Uh, Vols, knock on wood, are killing it right now. Um, they're looking like they're in postseason form, potential chance to repeat national champions back to back years. I think it's I can't remember the years. They showed the years. It's been done a couple times, like in recent history. I just can't remember the exact year when it was last done by a team.
Mm.
But that'd be pretty nuts, especially with like NIL and where we're at with it. You know, like
Yeah.
you don't have a lot of
Yeah.
guys returning. They're probably leaving and going and getting bigger paycheck elsewhere. But
Hmm
yeah, we had Liam Doyle on the mound the other day. He was nutty with his pitches.
Buddy,
So
keep yawning.
that was pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Regionals still going,
Yeah.
but
Um, okay.
okay,
I had a thought and then I forgot what it was. You ever do that?
yeah, all the
Okay.
time.
Daily. So what is this whole deal with I'm like I only halfway understand what the heck is going on with Tennessee possibly getting kicked out of the SEC. Is this like it's not real. There's no way.
I
It's not
don't think
happening.
I really don't think it's gonna happen, but it is like a rumor on the internet, so we'll talk about it here. Basically, the way that I understand it is that with the NCAA's ruling
NCAA.
on NIL and everything like that, they want everyone to sign a document which basically states that you're only gonna, use NIL money up to a certain point, a certain amount, and everything like that,
Like
and
a
not,
salary cap?
yeah,
Is that
pretty
what you
much
mean?
not use like a profit sharing and everything like that. That being said, the state of Tennessee signed legislation which said that they would continue to do that. And it also states in there that it is against the law for the University of Tennessee to sign something that says anything else. So, either if this document, and this document is hypothetical at this point, that they want them to sign, it's not actually come into fruition. So, what that means is that if that did come into fruition, there becomes a situation where
Situation.
Tennessee
You
either
like the situation?
follows the law and doesn't sign it, but is kicked out of the conference, or they do sign it, and then I guess the state sues them over it. So I'm not sure how that really
So
plays,
it
but
feels like it's the state. Wait, so this doesn't affect Vanderbilt?
mm,
Because it sounds like it is the state of Tennessee
my
versus the SEC.
yeah, my question there would be how much money has Vandy got in their NIL, and would it be
Either
underneath the amount?
way, it affects them to an extent. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like they're also in the state of Tennessee and in the SEC.
Yeah, I just don't think that they're spending as much on NIL, which is why it's not a huge issue. But I would
I
need to
don't know.
fact
All
check
I know is
myself on that.
that Tennessee belongs in the SEC, and if anything happens, I will riot.
Well, here's another thing. I don't understand how you can try and kick Tennessee out of the SEC when the birthplace of the SEC is in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh,
That
really?
is commemorated. Yes, it's on a plaque downtown. It is that like the Hyatt Place Hotel is the hotel that they were in when they
Really?
established the SEC. Yes, book it.
It's
So
not
I don't
happening.
know how birthplace of the SEC gets kicked out of the SEC. I mean, that makes no sense.
It's
It's
not
like if you
happening.
built your own home and then you got kicked out of your own home after building it. Makes no sense. So what I'm saying is Tennessee built the SEC. We are the SEC.
Tennessee is the SEC.
Ah!
No, it's not happening.
We'll keep you updated on any updates with that. We'll keep you updated on the updates as we are
We'll
updated with
update with the updates
updates.
whenever we get the updates
Yep,
of the
yep,
updates.
yep.
So,
Update.
well, with that being said, I just am so excited
Do you have an update?
because Josh Allen is married.
What?
Yes, him and Haley tied the knot. I have
Oh,
only seen
gee.
a couple of like leaked, I don't know if they're leaked or if they're whatever the pictures came from, but I've only seen like a few circling around online. And she was the most like chic, modern bride. She had like a strapless, what's the fabric? Beautiful strapless gown. She had gloves on. Her veil was little like low updo, and the veil. She looked gorgeous. You didn't see it. You probably don't even know that they
I
got
haven't
married, do
seen
you?
any of this, no.
Okay. Well, this is the news that matters. Okay. They're married, and I am rooting for them. They just look like such a wholesome couple. Like, have you seen like when he won MVP and she was like looking up at him?
No, I
It's
haven't
cute.
seen any of that. I like Josh Allen. I agree. I wish he was my quarterback. But actually, no, I don't,
Yeah.
because Cam Ward's a dog. Cam Ward, he's got the Titans put out some clips of them at voluntary OTAs right now, and he is perfect sidearm throwing, just dots to players. So I am feeling confident
Yeah.
here. Although he is still splitting first team reps
All
with
right.
Will Levis, which is no offense to Will. I don't know why we're splitting reps there, but I think that is part of the reason. So last year, Brian Callahan very early on was like, Will Levis is the guy. We're not even competing for who's quarterback one. He is the guy. So I think this year he's trying to avoid the same situation that he had last year, where it's like he said very early on he was a solidified starter. We can't pull him yet because they need
Oh,
to
I see.
establish the
Yeah.
team around him. So I think he's trying to
That
not
would
put his
make
foot in his
sense.
mouth. But from the clips I'm
Yeah.
seeing with my expert eye here, I think Cam Ward
Expert.
easily starter and is going to be league MVP next year. Probably going to take us to the Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl. You know, don't want to get too excited here.
Probably.
But yeah, so basically Titans winning the Super Bowl
How
next
much
year.
you want to bet on that?
Oh, I bet I could put $5 on it and make like 150 right now.
$5?
I
That's
mean,
it?
pay out 150.
I guess that's like, yeah.
Let me see. Let me see.
I'll send it. I lost my $5 bet last night that the Knicks would win. So,
You did. I hit
how much
mine
did you
though.
make for the Pacers winning? Yeah,
Not a ton. They were favored, so
not a
it
ton.
was
Yeah, I didn't think so.
okay.
I like to check
Current
the more
odds are
risky bets, Josh.
plus 20,000. So that translates to a 0.5% chance of winning the Super Bowl. We are ranked 28th out of 32 teams for odds to win the Super Bowl. And what that means is that if you bet $100, you will win $20,000.
Holy,
Pretty good.
I mean, I don't think it's happening, babe.
It
I hate
could.
to break it to you.
It could. Never know.
It could.
All I'm saying is 0.5% chance. You're telling me there's a chance. It's not zero.
It's not zero.
It's not.
Yeah.
We got it. I'm gonna leverage the house payment this month.
Let's not do that.
Hear me out.
Let's not do that.
Listen, at this rate though, we could pay off the house.
Let's not do that.
What could go wrong?
You know what I want to know, Josh, is can you explain there was an F1 race this morning,
Oh,
and there was a lot of stuff with Max Verstappen.
yes.
I didn't watch the whole race. Shocker. Just break it down. Break down
Yeah.
F1.
No, like a dance? You don't want me to break it down to dancing?
No,
Yep.
like actually explain
Yeah, so
what's
basically
been going on in F1.
One,
Because your guy didn't win. Your guy didn't do very well.
no,
Lewis
my boy
Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton had a rough day out there. He actually qualified really well. He qualified fifth overall, so he started in the fifth position. That's what qualified fifth means. On the start, he was able to move up into fourth and overtook George Russell, his former teammate. But then that was pretty much the only highlight for our boy Lewis Hamilton for the entire race. His back end of his car just had no grip, so every time you'd go around the corner, you'd kind of see it like kick out a little bit, and so he could not manage the same pace that like the leaders are doing. So he did not get to move up at all. He actually on the second to last lap got passed by Nico Hulkenberg, who is on, I would argue, the worst team in F1 right now, Kick Sauber. So, yeah, that was tough. But luckily, he kind of made a place back up because of the incident that you were referencing. So, what happened is that with about 10 laps to go thereabout, Kimi Antonelli of Mercedes went off the track due to an engine failure. They had to issue a safety car so that they could clear his vehicle with a crane and get him to safety and out of the potential dangers of another driver crashing into him. So the thing about F1 is that they continue to not race, but like your laps count as you're going around behind the safety car. So
like they don't pause the race, they just
yeah, it's like you can't pass each other, but you continue the race as they're clearing it, and then once the safety car comes in, you continue your race. But all of those laps that you did while they're clearing the debris, they count towards the total laps of the race. So safety car comes out, everybody gets new tires. Verstappen, when he came in, so you have three different types of tires. You can go soft tire, hard tire, medium tire. I don't know why I said it in that order. But anyways, the soft tire is the fastest of the three tires, but the thing is that it won't hold up for an extended period of time. Well, that's not a super huge factor other than the fact, like, because we only have 10 laps of the race left. So if you put on a fresh soft, it's going to last you until the end of the race. It's going to be the fastest tire. The slowest tire out of those three is the hard tire, as you probably could have guessed, the opposite of the soft tire. So when Verstappen came in and got a tire change, everyone else went to soft or medium because that's what they had left. Verstappen got a hard put on. So he's leaving and he's like, why do I have a hard tire on my car? And they're like, oh, because that's all we had available. And so then he's like, well, this is stupid, like this makes no sense.
You didn't tell me that.
So they put the slowest tire on his car that they had available, but it was the only tire that they had available that was fresh. So he gets that put on. Well, then coming off the start, so when they restart the race, there are 6 total laps left. Off the rip, coming into the final corner before they finish the lap, Verstappen's back end goes off the track a little bit and he does a big wiggle, loses a lot of speed there. Leclerc, who was behind him, goes up, passes on the right of Verstappen. In that, Verstappen bumps the side of Leclerc. Very, very obviously Verstappen's fault. Verstappen's on the radio saying, Leclerc just rammed into me. This can't happen, blah, 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 blah. But if you watch from the top, Leclerc is going very much straight, and Verstappen turns in and bumps him in the side. No major damage done, but that started a spiral. So Verstappen's losing speed from that. He, had the sputter out on the final turn going into this next lap. So in all of that, George Russell then moves up and comes alongside. Now, George Russell goes too deep into turn one of the next lap and forces Verstappen off the road. So he has to pass. Well, Verstappen's coming on the radio again to say, like, yo, I just got bumped. This one was, in fact, George Russell's fault. He did bump Verstappen in the side because he went too deep on the turn and then forced Verstappen off the track. But at this point, Verstappen's pretty frustrated. And so he's telling Red Bull, the team he races for, over the radio, this is not my fault. This is Russell's fault. He needs to get in trouble for this. He needs a penalty. Well, then Red Bull comes back over the radio and says, no, give the place back to Russell. And he's like, why would I do that? And they're saying, well, that's the rules. So basically, Red Bull has sided with Mercedes as opposed to Verstappen in this situation. Though, to me, it seemed very clear that it was Russell's fault. But anyways, they tell him that he needs
at least.
Yeah, they
That
say
bump.
that he needs to give the place back. So Verstappen slows down. George Russell accelerates, goes around him into a hairpin turn, and Verstappen very clearly accelerates his vehicle forward and hits the side of George Russell. Yeah, see, that's a no-no. So Verstappen got a 10-second penalty. There were a lot of people saying, like, oh, he needed to be black flagged, which means he gets, none of his points count for this race. But all he got was a 10-second penalty. So he would have finished third in this race, but instead finished 10th. Him finishing third is also prior to him getting passed by Leclerc and also George Russell. So gets 10-second penalty, finishes 10th. But the funny thing is that fans throughout the race can vote on who they think the driver of the day is. And once you submit your vote, it's locked in. So a lot of people had submitted their votes early before all of this occurred. So Verstappen won driver of the day, and it shows your start and finish, and it shows driver of the day started third, finished 10th, which is hilarious. Because Nico Hulkenberg, the guy that we were originally talking about that passed Lewis Hamilton, he started 15th and finished 5th. So, that was the drive of the day.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so that is everything that happened.
Drama.
McLaren won Tudit, Oscar Piastri, followed by Lando Norris, and you had Charles Leclerc for Ferrari coming in third. And so with Leclerc getting third and Hamilton finishing, Ferrari is now number 2 in the Drivers' Cup. So that's a big deal. That is a big deal. Because remember, like week 2, both of their cars got disqualified for being slightly too light and slightly too low. So, or like 1 centimeter too low. So they got disqualified. But yeah, so that is the F1 update. Ends our triple header. We had 3 weeks in a row of racing. We will now have a week break.
Okay.
Yes.
That was a lot.
A lot happened. This morning, I'll just finish with this. This morning was exceptionally more entertaining than Monaco last week.
Yeah, well, it doesn't seem like that was hard to do.
No, you could have put them in could have put them in some go-karts and it would have been more exciting.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving along. On to Girl Dinner, where we nibble on all things women's sports. So WNBA, the big thing this past week, really. So Caitlin Clark is, like we said last week, out for a couple weeks, which is tough for a lot of reasons. At first, I didn't realize it was her first time being out since like high school. That's crazy.
Dang. That's nuts.
But it's tough. Well, okay, so I guess I'll join two things. So Paige Bueckers is also out for minimum of 2 games because of concussion protocol, which they don't
Oof.
know exactly where she got a concussion. She just like had a headache. So which game was it? Um, I think the one against this, no, the first one against this guy. She played in that one. Yeah. So their first game against this guy this past week, um, must have been when it happened, I guess, because
Interesting.
I don't know, she was just complaining of headache and things like that. And so, yeah, concussion protocol, which sucks. So the two of the WNBA stars are out right now, which is hard because that's like a big thing. So viewership and ticket prices went down because Caitlin Clark was out. I'm sure similar things are probably happening because Paige is out. Um, so so this, I mean, it's tough. Two of your stars are out, but this happens in every sport, every league, right? Like players get hurt if they have to be out for periods of time. So how does the franchise respond and keep viewership up? I don't know. But
Yeah,
somebody's got to figure it out. So,
true.
so it looks like the earliest that Paige will be
That is
back is June
somebody's job.
6th against the Sparks, which is also my birthday.
Woo!
One other cool piece of news that I just saw the other day, like I hadn't heard anything about it, but there's a pro softball league coming out, opening, starting,
That's exciting.
whatever the word is. Yeah, so it's called Athletes Unlimited Softball League. It's apparently debuting next week, which is exciting, but also the MLB is investing in it. So hopefully it's like WNBA, but for baseball, softball. Same thing. Not same thing, but you know what I mean. So we'll see. I wonder if it'll, I bet it'll, or do you think it will start off as slowly as the WNBA did, or do you think it'll, because there's already like momentum in women's sports, maybe it won't take as long to get going?
Oh, I don't know, because I do feel like women's sports has kind of blown up here recently. Like I
They've
feel
been
like a
popping
lot more
off.
people are paying attention to the
Yeah,
WNBA. Yeah.
yeah,
So I feel like they've
yeah.
got the momentum. Now would be, I mean, now is a great time for them to expand into the softball side of things. And
It's really
college
good timing.
softball right now, pretty exciting to watch.
Yeah, you're right. Well, mainly for us because go Vols.
Lady
But
Vols. Yeah. We did lose in a heartbreaker the other day, but again, double elim, so we're
it's
fine.
okay.
We're fine.
It's okay. I have faith. I think that's about it.
Yeah.
Did we talk about you have a spicy snack written down? Did we kind of talked about that
Yeah,
before
we
though, but do
briefly
you have anything
touched
else to
on it.
say on
Is
it?
Haliburton overrated or underrated? And so we already said that, his fellow NBA players voted him the most overrated superstar in the NBA, which I
Yeah.
think is kind of a ridiculous thing to have them vote on. Um, I don't know why
That's
that's put in there
wild.
because, like, yeah, like, why is that even a question that they're throwing in there? Other than to just like throw
Trying to
shade.
start drama. Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of a crazy thing, but all I'm gonna say is that the reason I am choosing to cheer for the Pacers in this entire thing is because every time that I watch like the pregame tip and everything like that, you've just got like Charles Barkley and all of them talking about like, oh no, like it's Knicks tonight. Knicks are for sure gonna
Yeah.
win. Oh, the Cavs are gonna do it. Like the Pacers got
Yeah.
no chance. Like everything has to go right for the Pacers to win, and it's just not going to go their way tonight. So whoever they're playing is going to win this game. So it's
Yeah.
been fun to continually just watch them eat their words because the Pacers continue to win games.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think he's
All right, well, there
underrated,
you have it.
not overrated.
I feel like you're saying in general that the Pacers themselves are
Yeah,
underrated.
no, I would agree. There's also a stat that, like, it was a ridiculous amount of years, but basically, if the Pacers, I don't think Pacers or OKC are paying a luxury tax right now, and that's going to be the first time that the teams in the finals or the team that wins the whole thing isn't paying a luxury tax for like the first time in like 10 years or something.
What do you mean luxury tax?
Luxury tax is where you pay over your salary cap for the year.
Oh, oh.
So you have to pay like a,
Falling
a
on a
tax.
budget. All
Yeah.
right. All right.
So,
Cool.
yeah,
Excited to see Thursday how they
true.
play against OKC.
Okay, see.
So until next week. Bye.
Deuces.